Here at home, all former prime ministers have signed a letter urging Canadians to proudly fly the flag as the 60th anniversary of its first raising approaches on Saturday. The letter, released yesterday, reads in part, "In recent weeks, we've witnessed a surge of Canadian pride and patriotism in the face of threats and insults from Donald Trump. Canadians have come together to express their love of our country and their determination to defend Canada's values and our independence. As former Prime Ministers of Canada, we applaud this national spirit and we call on our fellow Canadians to show the flag as never before. On Flag Day 2025, let's fly our flag with pride. Let's show the world that we are proud of our history and proud of our country." Here to talk about the letter is former Prime Minister Kim Campbell. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
So as I was thinking of this letter and, of course, the fact that you've all come together like this, and I think Jean Chrétien is the one that kind of got it all going. You, of course, were rivals in 1993, and now, fast forward, here we are in 2025, and you're working as a concerted effort. What's the message then?
Well, I think the message is that we have fractious politics in Canada, and Canadians like to knock down, drag out divisions, and parties offer voters choice, but there are big issues where we come together, and I think this is one of them. I think when it's a question of standing for our national, pride and our national honor, I think that there are no disagreements. So, and also, we're former prime ministers. We're not, pretending to have our hands on the levers of power. We have elected politicians and people who are serving, whose job it is to, deal with these issues in real time. But as former prime ministers, we're proud of those, the jobs that we held, and we're proud of our country. And so we feel that it's appropriate to come together and use that political capital, however small it is, to encourage Canadians to do something that may make them feel better. I think that sometimes we feel a little bit powerless when we're faced with these kinds of situations, and being reminded that it's the 60th anniversary of our flag, gives us a nice excuse to go back and think about what that means to us.
So now waving the flag is very patriotic and so on, but what will it do to discourage a Donald Trump who wants to bring in tariffs and wants to take us over as his 51st state?
Well, I don't know that it's going to have any impact on President Trump. I'm not sure that's the point, except that if there is an incident, that dog behind you is my dog Leo, who is a Canadian dog. So
well, there you go. You should have a flag on him, I think. But anyway, keep going.
But I think it's certainly that, strong demonstrations of a national will and commitment to independence. It can't do any harm. We're not pretending that this is necessarily going to change the world. But I think that for Canadians themselves, it might be kind of therapeutic to feel that there's something you can do that connects you with a sense of solidarity with your fellow Canadians. I have to say that, not that I am entertaining the possibility of joining the United States, but I also think it's a little bit odd that a country, the second largest country by territory in the world, with 10 provinces and 3 territories, would become the 51st state. Maybe 13 more states. And all that entails in terms of proportionate representation. I mean, it's the whole thing is just a little bit goofy.
Well, and, there's a lot of opinions on how to approach this. Last night, Stephen Harper was in Ottawa for a book launch, and if you haven't heard what he said, if I was still Prime Minister, I would be prepared to impoverish the country and not be annexed, if that was the option we're facing. He also said, I would accept any level of damage to preserve the independence of the country. So, what is the best approach? I know you've called Donald Trump a bully. Do you tiptoe around him, or what do you do?
Well, I think there are, a number of different theories about it, but I think the first thing is to stand up for your own independence. We signed a free trade agreement with the United States, and then the NAFTA, the legacy of that, which was join Mexico, was renegotiated in the first Trump administration. And when you negotiate a deal and you sign a deal, you stick to it. If you think you want to change the terms of the deal, then you reopen negotiations. You don't just say, oh, well, the hell with that deal, we're not going to follow it anymore. So there is a certain protocol and good manners and integrity that you have in dealing internationally with other sovereign countries. And I think that what makes people so uncomfortable about this, sudden launching of tariffs and the attack on Canada is, first of all, it's based on, an untrue assessment of what Canada means to the United States. And we are not being subsidized by the United States. It's actually a very mutually beneficial agreement. And a lot of our benefit to the United States is not purely economic. It's also the fact that they have a northern border on which there is a peaceful, democratic country that can be a strong ally and doesn't require them to be, constantly worried about their security. So, I guess just the point is that I'm not going to second guess the people in our government now. And that's certainly not the intention of this letter that we've signed. It is an effort to address Canadians and say, one of the things that you can do that would perhaps give you a shot in the arm, make you feel some sense of agency, but that also communicates to a message to the United States and to the world about Canada's commitment to its independence, is to take advantage of this remarkable 60th anniversary of our new flag. It's not so new anymore, to demonstrate our affection for it, but for what it stands for. So I think if ordinary people are feeling that they're not sure what they could do, this is one small way in which we can demonstrate how we feel about our country, and by taking advantage of our Flag Day.
So let me ask you, you were talking about democracies and so on. What's your view of how other Western democracies have responded to this? Canada is under attack. Trump has his sights on other places like Greenland. Are you disappointed, observant of the fact that no one seems to be standing there like saying, quit beating up on Canada?
Well, I don't know if anybody is or not. I know that Denmark, in response to the comments about Greenland, has now suggested that it would be willing to buy California. So it's hard for countries to know how serious to take this. I take it very seriously because I think it's dangerous not to. But I think that countries in the world are horrified, and what they will say will depend on where this goes. When first the threat of tariffs was touted, the president then backed off. So many people may have thought, well, okay, that was a tempest in a teapot. Now he's threatening to, reinitiate this idea, and people will take it more seriously. But I think Stephen Harper is right in the sense that when you're encountering bullies, you may think that you can appease them, but you can't. You can fairly negotiate, and if somebody has a genuine concern, then you can genuinely take their concern into account and try to do the best you can to try and make a friendship work better. But this does not come at the expense of your own sovereignty. So we have lots of issues in our country, but it's for us to decide them. And I think what I feel, and I get the sense from other people too, is aside from being insulted and offended, it's very disappointing because, we expect more from the United States. Mm-hmm. But the States is one of the world's great democracies. But, Canada is also one of the oldest democracies in the world. Mm-hmm. And,
so, Ms. Campbell, unfortunately, we could talk forever, but I have one last question because we would love to talk for an hour, but I know you're busy too. I know you follow politics carefully, so my last question, and you can make it quick, is we've got an election coming, we have a Liberal leadership. As you look forward, who do you think is best positioned to deal with Donald Trump?
Well, I don't want to get into that political battle, but I think that is certainly one of the questions that Canadians will have on their mind as they participate in these two choices of people who might lead us. And who'd have thought, that would be something that would in 2024 still have to be a consideration for the Canadian electorate. But it's in their hands to figure that out.
Wow, very diplomatic answer. So you've got a couple of days to put a little flag on that dog for Flag Day. It was very nice talking to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.